Welcome back.
We got a special guest here today.
That's me.
It's Tanner Marlar. He's a sports editor of The Reflector. He also does a billion other jobs. So, Tanner, give him the bio.
Do you want like the resume bio or like the short form?
A short form, please.
It's up to you.
So short form, I'm the sports editor here at The Reflector. I also cover Mississippi State basketball for the Sports Illustrated affiliate here at Mississippi State, Cowbell Corner. I also cover high school sports with the Commercial Dispatch and several other things here and there.
And he has his own podcast called The Dudes with Cody Blazak, so check that out down below. So we're happy to have our first co-podcast guest on with us today. Today we brought on Tanner because he is an MSU sports expert.
I'm not about expert, but I do be knowing the sport.
He does. He knows. So today we're going to talk about the Egg Bowl, and we're talking about the history of the rivalry between Ole Miss and Mississippi State. So I guess, Tanner, why don't we start with the beginning?
Okay, so if you want to know about the Egg Bowl, first you have to know about the two schools. So way back when land grants were being issued and Mississippi State wasn't even a thing, there was just the University of Mississippi. Mm-hmm. So it was proposed to the University of Mississippi to expand into agricultural and engineering majors. Well, at that time, segregation and everything, segregation wasn't just a race issue, it was a class issue as well. Mm-hmm. So the lawyers' children, doctors' children, and everybody else did not want these farm kids coming up to Oxford to go to school with their lovely children.
That doesn't surprise me.
It shouldn't. Morally bankrupt institutions tend to do that. But either way, so thus Mississippi A&M, Mississippi Agriculture and Mathematics, was founded, which later became known as Mississippi State here in Starkville. And
we are the superior school. Yes.
This is true.
Yes.
This is
we
true.
are the people's university. We'll take anybody.
That's true. That's true.
So, okay, we have the rivalries, or we have the settings set. So when did this football rivalry start?
Well, both University of Mississippi had a football team for a very long time, but Mississippi A&M's football team quickly rose to become a better program because with Mississippi A&M being an agriculture and mathematics school, they were also an ROTC school.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
So the ROTC kids would wind up playing on the football team. And it became, well, who had the better ROTC program? Mm-hmm. The strong, cornbread-fed kids that went to Mississippi A&M.
The farm boys?
Exactly.
Or the lawyers who have to roll up their sleeves.
Exactly. So early on in the rivalry, Mississippi A&M held a pretty commanding kind of lead on that and then later when it became Mississippi State. But the way the trophy was started was the two schools played every year and yada, 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 and they decided, well, if we're going to do this every year, the winner should get something.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
So thus they created a trophy, the Golden Egg, which is still in use today. Every school, whichever wins, gets to keep it for the following year.
Usually Mississippi State.
Until the next Egg Bowl. Now, there have been times before the overtime rule was instituted in college football where the games would end in a tie. And in that instance, one team would keep the trophy for one half of the year, the next would keep it for the next half.
That's so extra for no reason.
I know. Overtime has changed that, thankfully.
Yeah, I could see we would not want to tie these days.
No.
People would brawl on the streets.
Mississippi would burn.
Oh,
yes,
no.
it actually would.
No doubt.
But the
Wait,
rumor...
what about the egg?
I was going to say,
okay.
the rumor behind, and this is an old wives' tale, and probably has some truth to it, the rumor behind it being an egg is that one time when one school came to visit the other, they won, and on their way out, students pelted the bus with eggs.
That's funny.
So that's what a lot of people like to say is why it became known as the Egg Bowl. Mm-hmm. So
I was assuming it was something dealing with like just chickens.
In reality,
because they are a farm school.
In all reality, it probably is, but I personally like the egg throwing story better. That's just me.
That's fair.
And over the years, obviously, the rivalries has been. I think it's the most heated rivalry in college football. A lot of people tell you Michigan and Ohio State. Michigan has won like 3 out of the last 20 games between the two. It's not a rivalry.
I'm sorry, either of those states suck.
Exactly. It's Ohio.
Can you really take Michigan or Ohio seriously?
Exactly. But other than that, obviously, it's a heated rivalry. It's every year. And to me, it's one of the best traditions in college football.
Right. So what goes along with the Egg Bowl traditions?
Well, there's obviously the tailgate. Tailgating is number one.
Yes.
You know, you have these two cities that are pretty famous for tailgating across the SEC.
Absolutely.
The Grove is obviously famous on a national level. It's a fun place to be. I won't lie. I've ventured into enemy territory. Then you have the Junction. And if you want some more MSU history, the Junction used to not be this big plain of grass where we all tailgate now. Mm-hmm. The Junction used to actually be where like 7 roads met. And it was an actual intersection. And
that sounds horrible.
It was. It was terrible. So they called it Malfunction Junction.
Of course.
And when they fixed it to what it is now, that became the tailgate spot. And everybody said, well, we'll just call it the Junction because it's still the Junction and it's kind of a fun name. So it kind of stuck. And
that's
here
so
we are
interesting.
today.
I always wondered because I always want to call other schools tailgating place the Junction, but I'm like, that's just
an us.
It's not a universal thing.
It's just Auburn has Toomer's Corner. We have the Junction.
Toomer's Corner?
Yeah.
That sounds so morbid.
No, it's actually pretty great. So what they do is after every win, they go and there's these big trees.
Oh, you're talking about
Toomer's
the toilet
Corner.
paper stuff?
Yes, they'll like throw toilet paper in these trees. And a couple of years ago, somebody actually burned down those trees, and it's still in federal prison for it.
Oh yeah, they've tried to poison those trees too before.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
So going back to the rivalry between State and Ole Miss, so have any other kind of egg throwing instances or any other times when fans just really took over the other team?
Well, there's always fights and stuff. I mean, there's a fight in the Junction and on the field just about every year. I'm trying to think of some story. I've heard story after story. The best way to get caught up on the rivalry is to read a book by my friend Steve Robertson. It's called Flim Flam. You can order it on any kind of site, Amazon especially.
Flim Flam.
Yeah, because that's their thing. It's like Flim Flam Ole Miss by, I don't know if we can cuss on here, so I'm not going to,
Yeah.
You complete the word. You complete the rhyme. But I mean, it's a heated rivalry. There's always this week that we're in now every year where it just becomes so heated and so toxic.
Oh, I've seen people
Ole Miss hate week.
Husbands and wives get casted to the couch for a week. I mean,
house divided becomes actually house divided.
Yeah, like those little car tags you see all the time are actually those actually happen. Like, divorces probably get filed.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, Emma, do you have any questions?
I'm all ears.
I don't know. Let me think.
What about other sports? What about basketball, softball? What kind of rivalries exist between those two?
It's, in all honesty, in baseball, Ole Miss has got a solid baseball program, but it's nowhere near a rivalry at this point. Mississippi State's won the Governor's Cup, which is the trophy for the baseball games, 5 years straight.
And we are College World Series champs.
We are national champions.
So
we have made more trips to Omaha. We do have, more talent. It's okay. It's okay to
admit it.
Ole Miss, it's okay to be the inferior program. It's fine. It is what it is. And basketball's pretty heated.
Yeah.
Basketball's pretty even. Ole Miss has got a good history. Mississippi State, not as much of a history program, but here in the modern day,
we're doing great.
We're doing quite well. We just won our 4th straight game tonight, actually.
Nice.
So do with that what you will, Oxford.
Haha. Okay, so I guess I don't really have any other questions, but do you have any other fun facts you'd like to insert at this time?
Oh, well, Mississippi State is quite hot right now. Mike Leach, 2 weeks ago, just completed the largest comeback in school history.
Right.
A record which he set in week 1 of this year. So we've had 2 of the largest comebacks in school history here in the same season. He went on the road.
Which is slightly stressful.
It's given me multiple heart palpitations.
I bet.
It's the way.
That's why you got to stay after halftime.
It's the way of Mississippi State athletics.
It is. It is the way. What about Ole Miss? They're doing pretty good this year.
Yeah. They gave Vandy a little breathing room, but there's these weird phenomena in college football. And Vanderbilt playing well against Ole Miss is one of those phenomena. Like Mississippi State playing well against Texas A&M is one of those phenomena. We saw how that went earlier this year. But yeah, I mean, Ole Miss, I strongly dislike them. I strongly dislike the town of Oxford.
Oh, yeah.
At least for 1 week out of every year.
Right.
So-
And it is this week.
What do you think about, like, who do you think's going to win?
All right.
Do you
And
have,
for
like,
all of
anything?
your listeners that follow sports,
Follow the dudes first.
yeah, you can follow the dudes and keep up with sports.
He'll
Period.
give you all the full breakdown on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Tuesdays and
The
Thursdays.
more, like, athletic type instead of just history. So.
Yes.
Yes. So Nolan McCord, the current kicker for this team, has had an up and down year. That's no secret. But I predict this is going to be a close game. And I predict Mississippi State is going to win 38-35 off of a Nolan McCord game-winning field goal.
Interesting. I do think it will be close. I think we are a 30s team. I feel like we always are
Yeah.
scoring in the 30s.
Yeah.
That's just me being a non-sports person being like, oh, we always win by like 35 points or something like that.
We always manage to score in the 30s, yeah.
Pretty good estimate.
Yeah,
Emma, do you have a guesstimate?
Oh, I don't know
Come
enough
on.
about football to do a guesstimate, but
I mean,
I'm just hoping it doesn't get too ugly.
Oh, it will.
I'm hoping
gonna
it
be-
will. I'm ready for a
I do
really good
love-
Twitter feed.
Oh, the
I do
Twitter
love
feed.
some hot takes.
Look,
It's
you
already
need to-
heating up.
It's already here. I mean, we are in Ole Miss Hate Week.
It is.
It's
The first
Sunday.
tweet I saw today said
Look,
that.
as soon as people get out of church this evening, like the Twitter fest is on. Mm-hmm. It's on.
It's on. I'm excited for them to come on our Yik Yak and see what happens,
Oh,
personally.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that'll be quite interesting as well.
This is true. This is true.
If there's not at least one fire, I'll be surprised.
There will be. There will be.
Okay, so that was our segment with Tanner about the history of the Egg Bowl. So now we're going to transition into the ones that got away, aka what didn't make the paper this week. We're not printing this week, and did you like that?
I like that. I have too many of those.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So this week there was an OCH vaccine mandate protest by the doctors and the staff. Starkville Daily covered that. We didn't have a paper this week, so we couldn't run stuff that's kind of super current right now, but a lot of protests.
Lots of
A
protests.
lot of protests. And
There have been so many protests that even the sports guy had to go cover a protest.
yeah, this news editor has bags under her eyes. So can we, I don't know.
Can we stop?
Yeah.
Can we just eat a moon pie?
Speaking of moons, did y'all see the moon thing?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so pretty. So I had a debate tournament and we were driving at like 5 in the morning and the moon was so gorgeous. I loved watching it.
What's that? It's like eat a moon pie, drink a Coke, stop murdering people. That's exactly what these protests make me think. I'm not gonna lie. Calm down. Just calm down.
I'm glad people are expressing themselves, but can we not?
But yeah, like we like to have lives, you know.
Yeah.
It helps.
It really does.
So it would be nice
For everyone's sanity.
for everyone.
Stop. Reevaluate.
Stop it. Get some help.
Sounds like that meme. And then next, so I really wanted to do a feature on the new Starkville Police Dog who's from Hungary or from somewhere in Europe, but we can't really get a hold of his handler, so we might just transition that into like a slightly different idea, but it would be really cool because he is from another country, and obviously it's a dog, so we can't really know exactly what happened to him before, but it's still cool because like he came from Hungary, now he's in Starkville.
Does he bark in
Does he speak
Hungarian?
Does he speak Hungarian?
See, that's
Is
the
there a
thing.
language
These are the
barrier
things
here?
that we could learn. What if he only responds to Hungarian calls?
Maybe,
God.
maybe. You know, MSU is big on international students. So
Yes, we are.
This is a good thing.
Yes.
You know, expanding into Hungary, it's a good thing.
Into hunger?
Hungary.
Oh, I thought I was like, okay.
No, we've expanded into Hungary. I mean, we're all college students.
Mm-hmm.
We're poor.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
Your turn, ma'am.
Oh, is
Yep,
it time
so-
for the opinion corner?
It is. So that's all for the ones that got away. Next up is Emma's Opinion Corner. Yay! So our hot take this week will actually not be by me. It will be by lovely Tanner here.
Oh,
So, the
We're-
new football helmet logo, what would you like it to be? You've had a lot of
Okay.
like thoughts about the logo for football.
Okay.
I want to hear them.
all right. So
And
I'm a firm proponent of each sport needs their own like logo.
Yes.
Like baseball has the M over S.
Iconic.
I'm okay with keeping the banner theme for basketball. I
Right.
like that. You know, NCAA, basketball, banners. It makes sense. But for football, what do we have right now? This gaudy, ugly M-State logo with an off-center A. And I'm looking at y'all because you probably don't know that the A is off-center, but look, it is.
It is. He showed it to me, and I was like, well, now I'm mad.
And you'll never look at it again.
Get out your rulers and
You don't even have to do it.
You don't even, no, you can just eye it.
it.
I promise. It's bad. So, here's
so
what
easy
I
to fix.
propose for the football logo. The interlocking MSU that the team had in the 90s.
What does that look like?
Look it up. It looks
She's
great. She's cute. It's cute. It's the that right there.
Oh, I like that.
Exactly. Look at this. Look
That
how
looks
cute
so
this
class-
is.
That reminds me of like my Nana, like her old college merch and like the random things
It
she has.
it feels retro.
It feels retro. It feels footballish.
It gives you that kind of just like
It feels
yes,
homey.
This
Yes.
is this.
This is Starkville. And it's nowhere close to Michigan State, so you don't get the MSUs confused.
God forbid we confuse the MSUs.
I know.
I
Well,
hate
that's
it.
the thing. We played Morehead State tonight, and they're an MSU. So how do I tweet this? How do I go
Right,
about this?
right.
You know.
Can we trademark MSU, please?
Please,
Please, like we are dying.
But-
we really want it.
the M over S is baseball's thing. I get it.
Yes, it is
The-
baseball to me.
It is. It is.
It
It's
just
so
makes
baseball.
sense for baseball.
The banner thing I like on basketball,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't like on anything else.
Really,
Yes, like the Mississippi,
like our normal
state.
logo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it for basketball.
Okay.
Not the M state, but for basketball they have the full Mississippi
Mm-hmm.
right here, and then the state. I like that. I can get with that. And with basketball, there's banners like you hang
Yes.
NCAA tournament banners.
Yeah.
It just works.
And like soccer, they have a crest. That's classic for
Exactly.
soccer. Classic.
Exactly. Think about it, people. Think about it.
Okay,
We
a
need
brief
classic football.
interruption from the logos. What do you think of the gray uniforms this week?
Oh, I hated them. Hated them.
What do you think is our best uniform?
All white.
All white.
All white. All white or all maroon.
I'm a fan. I wish they would do, because it doesn't match. We got to do a maroon jersey and white pants.
I could
I
get
think
with
that looks good.
I could get with
What
that.
about people using the bulldog logo?
I love the Walking Bully logo. I love it.
Some
And
people says it looks weird, but I think it's
It looks
still
classic.
it looks
again.
good
Yeah.
for like a flag, or if you want to do like a throwback uniform. Like last year, they did the Flying M.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you guys don't know, it used to be Mississippi State's like full-time logo when they were really pushing the aerospace department.
Mm-hmm.
It was Mississippi State's logo was a Flying M.
Did it help push the aerospace program?
It did, believe it
Great.
or not. It worked. It worked. It just worked.
It just works.
And with if we can bring back more throwback logos, I think the Walking Bully.
I
would be
think they
great.
did it right back in the day, honestly.
I
We're
agree.
trying to make it too modern,
I
and we
agree.
don't need to do that. The
Design
people-
needs to go
the
back.
70s are coming back.
Exactly.
We need to reflect on that.
We need to just embrace it.
Modern is not always better.
That's you heard it. You heard her.
Period.
Period.
Now we're going to have a brief Heather on her soapbox moment. This is a 2 a.m. tweeting spree that, well, not spree, I had one tweet, but a 2 a.m. Twitter, like, little thought that I had.
Yeah, I woke up and I had like, I think 6 messages from Heather, and then looked on her Twitter and was like, oh.
We keep very different hours. So I think it is so harmful if we keep comparing women to one another, especially in music, because people are trying to compare Taylor Swift to Adele, and they're two totally different artists, or like Whitney Houston to Taylor Swift, or just like anybody to anybody. It doesn't make sense because they're all in different genres of music. Why are we pitting women against each other when we should be putting them together in celebration? They're all doing their own thing, and they're all doing it well. Taylor Swift is a lyricist. Whitney Houston is a voice. Ariana Grande is also a voice. But we're not going to compare her to Whitney because it's a different time, a different style of music. It's unfair to compare something when they're not even in the same field,
You
not
don't-
even the
see,
same
the thing
sport.
is, you don't even see it really for male artists.
Exactly. That's what makes me so mad because we have 100 little baby, little blah, 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 and we don't compare them.
This
No.
is true.
We don't, but we compare people that are totally different. This is not just me coming as a Taylor Swift fan, but this is just as a person who listens to a lot of women in music and who is a woman. It's just not fair to compare someone when they're just doing something that's totally different. So can we please stop? Especially men. Y'all have no right to be doing this. I'm sorry. This is my extremely hot take. It is on fire, actually. and I will not budge.
So what I need you to do is not spoil Adele's album for me until like
It's so
Tuesday.
good.
Because I haven't listened to it yet.
I've listened to it. I need to listen to it again. I don't really have a full thought on it. You like it?
Okay, so there's a couple songs I'm like, but for the most part, I'm like, yeah.
The first song is very good. What's it called?
I think it's like Strangers in something dark. Something
Strangers
like that.
in the Dark?
Strangers in the Dark,
It gives me You vibes.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a...
It's nice. It has...
It's
kind
jazzy.
of, yeah, it's like jazzy.
Old-timey.
Kind of old.
I swear, you know what came to my mind? Like when you said that. Have you seen the Carl Weezer thing? Like it's slow dancing in the dark, but it's the Carl
Yes!
Weezer. That's exactly what came to my mind.
Her song titles are so funny for this album. There's one called Oh My God, one called I Drink Wine.
Yeah.
So she really put out all the stops.
Apparently she had like a long version, like a 15-minute version of that song, and everybody's like, release it, release the
Oh
Adele
yeah,
song.
Taylor Swift did 10-minute All Too Well. Come on, Adele. 15 minutes.
15? Might as well.
The people want it, actually.
I would listen.
I would listen.
I would listen to hours upon hours of Adele, much less.
I mean, we've
15
already had to
minutes.
wait this long. Might as well just
Might as
give
well.
give it to us.
I saw her. She did like an Instagram, IG live video, like before the album released. But somebody commented on it and said, "What's this new album about, Adele?" She looks dead in the camera.
Oh, I
and
know
goes,
what you're talking about.
Divorce.
Divorce,
It's
babe.
about.
It's about divorce, babe.
Yeah,
It's about divorce.
exactly. So.
Oh, and she is stunning. Like, wow.
She's been stunning.
She's been stunning
Can
all
She's still
along.
stunning.
Yeah.
She has mad eyeliner skills.
Can agree.
I'm so
Can agree.
jealous of her. Like, what a queen. Love her. Okay, so next up, this one's not as like, kind of like, I'm not as like passionate about this as Heather was for that, but I watched the film Red Notice
Haven't seen it.
over this past week, and it's kind of just an action movie on Netflix. It stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, God.
Yes, a king.
Oh, God.
It
What? You don't
stars
like The
Ryan
Rock?
Reynolds.
I used to like The Rock, and then he's just doing too many dumb movies.
It's true.
He
But-
plays himself in this, basically.
He
So does
plays
Ryan
himself in
Reynolds.
every movie. There's only one role The Rock can play.
So does Ryan Reynolds. I don't think they acted a single second in this movie. So,
See, but Ryan Reynolds can play other roles.
yeah.
The Rock can only play The Rock.
That's true.
Even in what's Moana? Moana, he was pretty much the same.
Yep.
Exactly.
And his character looked just like how he does in real life.
In every Fast and Furious movie, he's The Rock. He literally rock bottoms somebody in the movie. Like, it's not my favorite actor, to say the least.
Oh, speaking of Red Notice, did you see the meme that Ed Sheeran did? He like photoshopped himself into the poster and he said Ed Notice.
Also, why was he in there? I cannot stand that
Wait,
man.
he was in the movie?
Yes.
You don't like Ed Sheeran?
I can't stand him.
Why?
Oh, Hannah's gonna have a problem with that. She's a big
Good.
Ed Sheeran stan.
Have a problem.
Why?
I can't stand him. He annoys me. I don't know what it is, but I just cannot stand his music.
I think
I
he's
cannot
quirky.
stand him.
I
He's
like-
not quirky. He's annoying.
It's fair.
He is a ginger.
Yeah,
That
it's
doesn't mean I don't hate
I know, I'm
gingers. I just
kidding.
don't
I
like
know.
Ed Sheeran.
I'm just laughing. I think that's funny.
So, don't like him. He made an appearance, no reason, and then he was just a little angry man, just yelling at everything. I'm like, yeah, that's right.
So I
hate
take
you.
I take it The Hobbit is not all your favorite movies.
No, I don't love The Hobbit either. So,
That's fair. That's fair.
anyway, it's directed by this guy's name is Rawson Marshall Thurber. I don't know
a
anything
name.
else that he has directed, but he had good things around it, and it was actually all shot in Atlanta. Fun fact.
Common place to shoot things.
Yeah.
I was gonna
so-
say, and they all made it.
Well, it took place internationally in the
Oh.
movie, so that's why it was kind of surprising. They visit like multiple things, and they were anticipating on doing that, like actually traveling, but then COVID happened.
Oh,
Ooh,
So-
dude, imagine trying to shoot a movie. You're in Atlanta for one scene, and then you're like, well, now we're stuck here.
Yeah, so they did it all in a soundstage.
Oh, is that what
and
happened?
parking
They got
lots.
stuck?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because there was no like international traveling
Yeah.
for that, so nobody wanted to let a bunch of Americans in, as they should.
As they should.
So-
As they should.
Yeah, they did everything there, and a lot of what they did was used. They didn't use green screens actually for this. They did another method that's called rotoscoping. So rotoscoping for animation is kind of like what Disney did in the early parts. They kind of copied over real videos of people, and so it's easier to capture the movement. But for this, it was a different kind of thing. So for special effects, it's like a bunch of layers and that type of things, but it's really cool. I recommend you looking up like videos because I cannot explain all of it. It's like mats and masking and all this like
movie
stuff.
magic blows my
It's
mind
so cool.
to this day. Like,
and all of this was done possibly while being shot at in Atlanta.
Possibly, yeah. So, yeah, it was an interesting movie though. Did you ever end up watching it? No?
nope, I have not watched things.
Well, it was alright, but I think they're gonna... they set it up for a sequel, so I'm not really sure what they're gonna do for the next one.
Why does every movie need a sequel?
Honestly,
It
or a
doesn't.
prequel.
It doesn't. It just
I
doesn't.
didn't think it was good enough to have one, frankly.
Find me one The Rock movie that's good enough for a sequel.
So I was like, okay.
And I just don't even understand. I saw Dune the other week after that opinion article, and I don't understand it at all. And I know it's set up for a prequel, but I'm like, why couldn't we have just like talked a little bit more so it could only be one movie?
Yeah.
Because it probably would have been more than 3 hours.
It probably would have been.
But I mean, they've done more things. Like, what was it, Snyder Cut? They cut it down and like did it in like different parts. So they
Snyder
could've done
Cut
that.
was. I mean, Snyder Cut was 3.5 hours though.
Mm-hmm.
But so are the Harry Potter movies, and people watch every minute of those.
This is a hot take for me. I, for the life of me, cannot understand why.
You're probably not gonna like. I don't really care for the movies either.
Yeah, I love the books.
Okay.
But I hate the movies.
Why?
They're just so long.
Oh, no, they are really long. Okay, I will admit, I like the books a lot more than the movies because I can just read a lot faster. And movies, like, it's so hard for me to sit through a long movie, especially some, like, you really just have to follow it, and I just don't know. But I do like Harry Potter. I do rewatch them every year, but it definitely takes a lot of, like, all right, we're going to watch it.
Yeah, like, if I have to, like, get psyched up to watch a movie, it's probably not going to be a good movie.
That's true. That's true.
You know, it's like Titanic. Like, I will never understand people rewatching Titanic.
I don't think I've ever seen it like, the whole way through.
Well, it's the boat sinks every time.
Yeah.
Like, it never ends differently.
My mom had the tapes for that. It was 2 tapes because it was so long. They couldn't fit
What
it
a
on
throwback. That's so funny. I
Yeah.
love VHS tapes.
So
I loved The Irishman, and it was too long.
they honestly just need to. If you can't tell your story in a short time, I mean, obviously sitcoms, comedy shows, they do that. They do it sometimes in
They
20
do in
minutes.
22 minutes. That's why I love
so if
sitcoms.
you can't tell your like
It's
thing
doable.
in that little bit, you probably shouldn't be including everything.
You
then.
probably are like me and can't write anything under 1,000 words.
Cut some stuff out.
Cut some stuff out. Not everything needs to be in there.
Unless it's a Snyder's cut. Give me more of that.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the crazy story of the week. And we are in no short supply this week yet again. Mississippi, come on. What are you doing?
They're just...
It's a
Who
weekly.
knows?
It's a weekly thing.
It is. I feel like every time I open up the newspaper, I'm like, wow.
Everybody's in competition.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Exactly.
true.
What's the craziest thing we can do?
What can we do to just best that insane thing that happened last week?
Yeah, so usually you wouldn't think that crazy things happen that often in Madison, but this week there was a kangaroo that was hopping on the interstate.
Wait, what?
Yes, so listen to this. This family has a pet kangaroo, and there's an occupational therapist, and she uses it for the children that she is a therapist for as like an emotional support kangaroo.
Because, yeah,
Wait.
they're totally going to do so good.
Because, yeah.
They
Dude, if
won't
I
just
saw a
box you to
kangaroo in
death.
this room, I'd freak.
Yeah, kangaroos look scary.
They are scary.
And they're
They
If
can
you're like a,
kill you.
I was just like, dude, he kicks you in the chest one time, you're
You're
done.
Oh wait, so she's a so it's Dr. Alyssa Killebrew who owns the therapy, and she's a child psychologist, so not a therapist, but still. So she has children patients, and I guess she brings them to her because she keeps the kangaroo in her backyard in a cage, and the kangaroo managed to get out of the cage, of course, because it's a kangaroo. Kangaroos are strong.
That's not humane, number one.
Yeah, like how big of a cage is this kangaroo in?
Like, I was going to say,
It
this
can't
has,
be that big.
for this to be like a decent sized cage, to not like torture this animal, it's got to be like zoo type cage.
Exactly, and she already has a backyard, so I'm like, why do you need a cage if you have a backyard?
I don't know, man.
But anyway, we're not
maybe-
talking about the ethics of kangaroo owning.
That's the next
It's not
episode.
for us to decide.
That's the next episode.
We'll have her on the show. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
So
we'll have the kangaroo on the show,
kangaroo,
actually.
I guess, slipped. Oh, a neighborhood child wanted to come see Rocky,
child.
and forgot to lock and close the gate.
Does this say she was 7 months pregnant and ran after this kangaroo?
Yes. So Dr. Killebrew
I
was
forgot about
7
that.
months pregnant, and she ran off to go find the kangaroo. And she was like, I just couldn't get it out of my mind that if someone got hurt, I couldn't live with myself, so we ran around trying to find Rocky. We went all around Madison. This is from WLBT, written by Sherry Nicole. Sorry, I forgot to give proper credit. We, of course, want to credit her or him. And so, basically, the kangaroo was on I-55 in Madison, which is very close to where we are from.
Yes.
So, here's the thing. You know, when people get married, which I'm assuming our good doctor is, I'm hoping, being 7 months pregnant, you know, usually the wife will come to the husband like, hey, it's time to sell the Nova or the Mustang. We have a child on the way.
Right.
At what point as a husband do I have to come up to my wife and say, you know, the kangaroo?
It's gotta go.
Can we talk about this?
The elephant in the room is the kangaroo.
The elephant in the room is quite literally just the kangaroo in the room. It's got to go.
Oh my God.
Like, you know, infant, not... He could literally kick that child's head off of its shoulder.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He would probably kick that child, like, out of the universe.
You want to talk about an out-of-body experience? Let a kangaroo kick you.
Out of all the animals you could use as a therapy animal, dogs.
Way sweeter than kangaroos.
What happened to a nice golden retriever?
Yeah, where was the stepping stone?
Yeah, what is the process where you go from we're skipping cat and dog ownership and we're going straight to kangaroo?
Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot more in between there.
Like you could have done therapy fish. That would have
therapy
been more,
turtle
that,
or
that
something?
would have been more realistic than therapy kangaroo.
Yeah.
Like, is therapy grizzly bear next? Is that what's next on the totem pole?
I mean, I saw this tweet just in my Twitter feed because WLBT tweeted it first. They said, what? Someone spotted a kangaroo hopping along I-55 in Madison. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Is this a fever dream? Okay, well, it turns out the couple has a farm. Her husband, Keith, and she have a farm in Florida. And they also have a zebra, among other animals. And I wonder what the other animals are.
I'm curious.
Lions, tigers, bears.
Oh my.
But they said Rocky was so tired, he went home and just drank a bunch of water and laid down. But here he is with some...
Oh, he's not a big kangaroo.
Still a kangaroo.
I mean, yeah, but look, this man is probably
that thing's probably not full
5'10".
size, though, is the thing.
It's probably a tiny... I mean, it's a...
Oh, they added on to this article since I read it.
Oop, now I'm intrigued. This is a small kangaroo.
I wonder if my family saw it. I'm from Madison, and my dad's work is off of I-55, so he might have seen it.
That's so crazy.
Oh.
Can you imagine? I wish I was driving home that weekend and that day and just been like, a kangaroo? That would have made the drive way more interesting.
I don't think I would ever want to drive again. You know how scared, I was picturing full-grown kangaroo.
Oh, the picture looks, hold on, this one?
Yeah, that doesn't look like a small animal.
No, this one, but still, they have so much power in those feet. Can you
Oh,
imagine?
yeah.
And that
We're going to
tail,
link this below so y'all can see
Yeah.
the pics.
yes, and if you're watching the YouTube video, I'll have pictures of stuff that we talk about so you can see, because I know you're just like, what are we talking about?
Yes.
It's a kangaroo.
It's a kangaroo. It's a small kangaroo, but still, kangaroos have that kick.
Nonetheless, a kangaroo.
Yes.
Nonetheless. So our next story isn't quite as funny. Mississippi's first execution in 9 years
Yeah.
occurred
Not funny at all.
this
Not
past
funny.
week. Not funny. I'm sorry to kill the mood. But this was also a crazy story because it hasn't happened in 9 years. So my first article I'm going to talk about is from Emily Wagster Pettis from the Associated Press. So David Cox he was executed by lethal injection this past Wednesday. And so basically why he was executed is because he shot and killed his estranged wife and he sexually assaulted his stepdaughters while the wife was watching.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And this happened in North Mississippi in Sherman, which is about an hour away. So great.
Yeah.
And so I have a quote. Mississippi Corrections Commissioner Burl Cain told the Associated Press on Tuesday that the drugs listed in the court records are the ones planned for use in the execution. He would not say where the department obtained them. So this is something that I've seen in all the articles. They don't want to tell what the drugs are. And I'm just wondering why. They're saying they're the standard drug. I don't know. I guess there is sort of a boundary because people might say oh, you shouldn't be using that because blah blah blah, but at the same time, if you don't have something to hide,
well, they might not also know which one they're gonna need to use for them.
Yeah.
So
a lot of it comes down to genetic makeup and stuff like that.
So that might be why they're being more vague about
I don't know.
it.
But this quote from Kane says the law says that we don't have to disclose it.
Well.
So, I don't know. But Cox was the first person to be executed since Gary Carl Simmons Jr. in 2012, and he was also executed via lethal injection. And the next article is from the Clarion Ledger, written by Mina Corpus? Okay,
Yeah.
Sorry if I mispronounced that. But this was basically after the fact. So that was a preview article. So David Cox appealed in 2015, arguing that the jury was impartial because of local news coverage, and his in-laws worked in law enforcement in the community, according to court records. He asked for a new sentence hearing in a different location, but the Mississippi Supreme Court upheld Cox's sentence in June 2015, according to court records. So he did end up getting executed on Wednesday, and I believe there wasn't a protest that happened, but there's this one lady who attends every single execution, and she has been since the 90s. I saw some stuff about her. So I just wonder, I just don't know what to say about this.
She was wearing a t-shirt and handing them out. So I think there was a couple other people there, but it wasn't like a formalized protest.
Yeah, but basically Cox was pretty much okay with passing away. He seemed pretty just okay. But he did say that the prison conditions were awful, which is why he was so okay with it. And I'll link a source on that as well. I did read an article. I didn't link it on here. But it's just it's so interesting. I don't know. It's so hard for me to just talk about stuff but not give my opinion because this is such a controversial topic. I just cannot offer my opinion. So that happened. That was very crazy, obviously, since it has not happened in 9 years, and we'll see going forward what occurs, I guess.
Yeah.
Again, we didn't leave off on the lightest note, guys, but we're so sorry.
It's Ole Miss Hate Week.
It's Ole Miss Hate Week.
Think about that kangaroo.
Think about the kangaroo. Think about how much Thanksgiving food you're going to eat before we go and whoop Ole Miss. And get the trophy and, have a good old time.
Yeah.
All of that.
Absolutely.
So you can follow us on social media. We are on the Scene Pod.
On Instagram.
On the Scene Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
And you can also email us if you would like to be a guest star, if you have any hot takes, questions, comments, or concerns at onthescenepod@gmail.com. We would love to have you as a guest. We would love to get some non-reflector people in here, so please hit us up if you have a story idea or if you just think that you have specialized knowledge about something. Come our way, please.
Yeah, we'd love to hear it.
And also, we'll be here next week on Thursday as planned with another new topic. We'll see. And Tanner, you can go ahead and plug your social media if you'd like in your podcast.
Ooh. Okay, so you can follow me on Twitter for all of your MSU athletics.
The number one person to follow on Twitter.
I try to be a fun follower. It's not just MSU athletics. It's my random thoughts that occur.
I like the thoughts.
And
it's very great.
They're quite entertaining. You can find me on Twitter at Tanner_Marlar. That's MARLAR. And you can find my show, The Dudes, at The Dudes Pod on Twitter. You can find us. We're on all major streaming platforms.
Link down below.
Spotify, Apple Music,
Anchor?
Anchor, Amazon, Google.
We'll link it all.
Literally, if you can find podcasts on the site, we're on it.
Yeah.
So if you liked what you heard today and you'd like to hear more of Tanner's lovely voice along with Cody Blazak, tune into that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Also, we are from The Reflector, so you can go ahead and follow them down below. It's reflector-online.com. We run the place here.
Mm-hmm.
We sit in a windowless office and worry about grammar.
Yes.
It's great. You should follow to keep up with more local news. And that was it for this episode.
So tune in next time.
Thanks so much for watching and listening.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Do that.